Hello and welcome back to the Artefactors Union. We have a special box for today, the Necropunks box for the Resurrectionist faction and the Amalgam and Transmortis keyword, even in 4th edition. This is special because this is the only box I've had to do a redo of. I got through most of it and then I lost some bits and was unable to recover them, which is something that does not happen to me a whole lot, or technically ever, for as far as recording Artefactors Union goes. So this is hopefully going to go better the second time. Alright, Necropunks is 3 models. They're called Necropunks. You got artwork for 2 of them on the front, and oh, here's the third. Gross robot boys. Robot zombie boys. That's the artwork. Renders in the back. Got guy with stick in the legs. Guy with a... well, I guess he does have legs, but it's mostly arms. And then the Swiss Army knife. Alright, let's look at the sprue. Here's our sprue. It's been split into 2 so it can fit inside of the box. Let me flip it this way. But as you can see, it was just a whole sprue cut into 2 pieces. So, the numbering on the Necropunks on the sprue don't match the instructions. Hooray. However, the instructions are just numbered from left to right here on the sprue, so we're going to go ahead and do them in the order that the instructions are on. So we're going to start with this one, which is 3 on the sprue, and then 1 on the instructions. Let's go ahead and look at those instructions first, and then we'll go over assembly order. Alright, I think we can attack this our usual way. The split is right here, so anything to the right of that is going to be for another Necropunk. We're just looking at these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bits. We have the 2 halves of the torso. We'll combine those first and then work our way up from the bottom. So we'll do the legs and then the arms, followed by the rags on his back and then his head, and call him good. Alright, so let's grab these 2 bits first. Okay, we got the back of the torso plus the front of the torso. Gives us 1 whole torso. Now, as far as our legs go, we've got 2 different connection points. The leg will be connecting to the front of this sort of ball joint and the back here, which gives us a clue as to exactly which one is which, as long as we also keep in mind that the big sort of claw is the toe. So if we look at it this way, this needs to be in front, and therefore this will connect in the back. So this is going to be our left leg. So we'll do our left leg first, and then our right leg. Right leg also has this extra sort of tubing that the left one does, so also be careful cutting that out. There's a very obvious spot you're supposed to clip it, so just be careful with that. Now let's do the left leg like I said before. There we go. Left leg done. Let's go ahead and do our right leg now. Yeah, let's show the actual connection point, Doug. Okay, the right leg is stepping forward, and that extra tubing is going into his butt, it seems like. Right, okay, let's do the right arm next, which, camera could focus, please. It's going to connect right in here. It's the one holding the stick. Okay. The staff is going right along the thigh, nice and perpendicular. Let's go ahead and do the other arm, which is got connection point right there. It's not too terribly solid. I think it's going to be kind of wobbly to get in there, but we'll see. Okay. Actually not that bad, although I did need tweezers to put it in there. Might be better to actually do the arm before the leg, but that's something you can do. I've already committed to this order, and I'm also realizing that the back rags type thing definitely should have gone on before the arms. Alright, so I think our connection points for those rags is going to be right here, this little hole, and then all the way up here on the shoulder, but we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and attempt those now. Okay. Somewhat correct. It is actually connecting to a strap that is on the arm, the right arm, but there is actually a connection point right along the edge here. That wasn't as obvious before I actually attached the rags, but upon seeing it as I was trying to attach it, it was pretty obvious. So connect it along there. This is actually not that hard to slide in between the stick and the arm to get it to connect there. Wasn't as bad as I thought. Alright, let's go ahead and put the head on, and then he'll be done. He's done. Nice. Let's put him on base. Our first Necropunk is done. We're going to call this one General Munchkin Man. The hardest part for him was the raggedy cloth on his back, getting that on there, and part of that was my fault by putting it on after the right arm instead of before, but I didn't really know that was going to be in the way. Other than that, not too terribly hard. The left arm was a little bit difficult just because that's an odd connection point, and the legs, small connection points as well. Overall, like, moderate difficulty, yeah. It's going to get harder, though. Let's move on. Alright, our second Necropunk is sadly split between two sprues, so yeah, just for simplicity's sake, we'll go ahead and grab the body and attach the two exterior arms first. They should fit in there solidly, and hopefully they won't be too much in the way as we attach the other bits. Normally I wouldn't do it in this order. I'd probably do the leg and the interior and the small arm here and the other small arm up here first, but just to make things easier to point out in its instructions, I'm going to go ahead and do these three bits first. Just letting you know how I normally do it. And then we'd go about that order. We'd attach the leg, do the little, I think this is the left arm, and then the right arm, and then the face. And we call it good. Okay, we've got our body. Let's go ahead and do the left arm first. And then remember that thumbs are just always going to be on the inside, so that is going to be this guy. There we go. Now let's do the other arm, the right arm. Probably grab my tweezers to make it a little bit easier to see. I've done this before, I swear. Right arm. Also good. Right, now let's attach his little right leg on this stump. Okay. That leg is tucked, so the connection point is really more on the back of the calf than the actual knee. Alright, let's do little tiny arms. First is going to be the one in his left armpit. The connection point is going to be kind of under this nub that sort of stands out from the flesh of the other arm. But the more prominent connection point is actually back here. You can kind of look close and see the smooth part of it. So this is where most of it's going to connect. It'll be the closed fist of the left arm. Okay. Looks good. Now the other arm, I'm going to go right in there. Okay. There's that connection. Alright, now we just need the front of his face. Alright, face went in just fine. Let's put him on a 30 mil. Our second Necropunk is done. We're going to call this one Little Jim Bob. The hardest part for him is the teeny tiny arm, and leg. All three of those, but especially the left arm, was the hardest part of the assembly, just because they're small bits, trying to cram them into a small connection point without dropping them or nudging them out of place. Yeah, dexterity difficulty. Not the easiest thing out there. Harder than I'd say, yeah, harder than the first one, but yeah, I'm not looking forward to the next guy. But let's do it. Alright, here's the massive pain in the butt. The really hard one. The one that made me fail last time. We got this. Grab the torso and do both legs and both fleshy arms and the head before we even freaking bother with the stupid robot arms on his back. And then we will go ahead and do the stabby arms first. We'll do the left arm and then glue this tube to the right arm before we attach the right arm and the tube to his back. And then we'll grab these claws and we'll attach them to the sort of grabby claw arms before we pop those out of the sprue. And then we'll attach the left claw arm and then the right claw arm, and then we'll be done. And we won't lose any of these. We won't. Alright, let's go torso. The right leg, left leg. One torso. Let's do the right leg. No, let's do the left leg. Okay, and I'm already starting to think maybe I should have done the arms first, but we'll go ahead and set that on the flat surface just to make sure that the feet are lined up with the ground. Now let's go ahead and do our left hand. It should be the one that is pretty much putting its fingers down. Okay, I guess I can just pull this up. Left arm, and then we'll do a right arm. Okay, that wasn't too hard to fit in. It also looks like there might be a connection point on his leg that connects to the back of the arm. Getting that to line up correctly and for the hand to fit where it would be flat on the ground didn't really work out for me. I still need to adjust it ever so slightly, but you can definitely connect that there. Alright, now let's do the right arm. Gonna fit in that hole. Oop, right arm is not touching the ground, doesn't look like. It's just holding it straight out. Okay, now let's add the head. Alright, the head is in and we're done with, well, the easy part. Okay. Let's revisit our arms. Let's start with the super duper easy one. This one right here, this stabby guy. This is going to be our lower left arm. It's got a nice little pokey connection point. That is going to go into this little hole on his back right here. Be going out almost completely sideways. Okay, it's kind of a weird angle, but it's the best way it sits in there because it's kind of a small connection point, so you want to get it to set in as well as possible so as much of it cures to the rest of the body. But this is what it looks like from the front, which matches the render pretty well. Okay, and it looks like I might have knocked his right arm out of place. I did. I'm dumb. Well, keep that in mind. The right arm is probably going to get knocked out of place if you're like me and you use it to brace up against things. Anyways, let's go ahead and attach our little tube, this guy, to our other arm. It's got this flat, sort of bulbous thing here, and that it's going to connect right here on this arm. We want the tube going kind of close to where this connection point is, but I'll go ahead and put that on and I'll just show you what it looks like. But we want to attach it almost immediately afterwards so that we can adjust it if it's not in the right spot. Okay, that's close to where we want it. Let's look at it on the other side. Yeah, that's pretty good. So let's clip this out. We'll shove it into his back in the other very obvious hole right there. Okay, I got the angle of that tube a little wrong. So, as you can see, oh, it popped out. There is just a little hole back here, right there. Let me move the tube back. That is my daughter who's playing with her toys. But it looks like it should go in that hole right there. And if this cures too much between gluing it to the bit and cutting out and attaching this here, then just put a little bit of plastic cement on it, and that should loosen up the connection to a point where you can guide this but back into its hole, and then probably fiddle with this so that it goes back to where it is. But that is our connection for the clawsies, the stabbers on his back. That's what it looks like, and that's very close to the render, so I'm going to call that pretty good. Now, let's go ahead and add the... Actually, no, what we're going to do is we're going to put the claws on the claw arms. Okay, so we've got our claw arms here, and nice connection points right here and right here. And as you can kind of see, you got a big finger, big claw, little claw, big claw, little claw. And over here, I've got a nice flat connection point. Big claw, flat connection point, big claw, little claw. So we're just going to glue the connection points to each other and make sure that the big claws are on the same, next to big claws. So this guy is going to go here, and this guy, this one, sorry, I don't know if I got that on camera. So this one's going to go to here, and this one is going to go to here. And we're going to get that on, and I just realized that they are the same alignment. Give me 1 second. Okay, after staring at the render for a little bit, it looks like the claw arm on his right, the fingies are almost in alignment with each other, and this claw is almost nearly closed. So we're going to go ahead and give it the one with the claw that is almost nearly closed. So this guy's going to go over to this one. And then the left one, the claws are much more open, while this one is slightly more closed on the left side than the right side. So we're going to add this one to this one. So we're going to go ahead and do that while they're on the sprue. Okay. I think that was the right decision for those claws. If we get them mixed up, no one is going to care. Let's figure out how we install our left arm. Sure, we'll do the left one, which is this guy, by the way. So I know the main part is going to connect here. I'm not entirely sure where the tubing is, so we'll figure that out once I've attached it. Okay. So the tubes end up going into this sort of pocket right underneath where the tube from the claw arm goes. Right down in here. Right in there. But also the tubes will have a little bit of an attachment to his back as well right here. So not only does the little mechanical part of the arm attach in here, but there is a little groove for the tube as well. So those 3 connection points will make it a slightly more stable connection, although that's still pretty small. So be careful with this model at this point if you haven't been already, because it's a little fragile arms. Alright, the right arm goes somewhere. Give me a second. Okay, it's going to fit, the arm's going to connect right here, but also the tube that's connected to the arm will also fit in this little dent right here as well. Okay, that is just a hot mess of stuff on his back. I'm terrified to ship this thing back to the guy who sent it to me. But he's done. He's pretty. Put him on a base and just pray the arms stay on, I guess. Our third Necropunk is done. We're going to call this one Larry. This was a pain in the ass. Yeah, all of the arms had their own special fun little difficulty pain in the butt part. We'll say the hardest one was the tube on the scythe arm. Figuring out how that's supposed to fit into the back and attach to the arm was the most difficult part, but it was just a hard build. A very, very hard build. But we got it done. And I wish you the best of luck, because it's a very pretty model, so if you manage to get it done, it's going to look great. Look at the whole box now. The Necropunks box is done, containing 3 Necropunks. Each of them fairly difficult, but obviously the third one is impossibly hard. Yeah, again, one of the hardest models I've had to assemble on this series so far, and that includes nightmare boxes. I'm glad Weird doesn't make stuff like this anymore. This is an old 2nd edition. It might even be like 1.5 edition build, so hopefully they'll update these sculpts soon, and this will be an old video that no one will need to reference, but they look good. Anyways, I've been your host, Informan Oopie Goopy, helping you build a better Malifaux. Have a good night.